What's going on, guys? It's your boy Deej from Deej Sports. We got some breaking news. Late last night, the Jacksonville Jaguars have come to terms with Liam Coen to become the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the now former offensive coordinator from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after originally agreeing to a deal that will make him one of the highest paid coordinators in the NFL. After he backed out of talks with Jacksonville, and decided to return to Tampa. He verbally agreed to return to Tampa, but as y'all know, Trent Baalke, Shad Khan, he finally let him go. Trent Baalke was fired about a day or two ago, and then late last night, multiple rumors started circulating that Liam Coen was in Jacksonville meeting with Shad Khan and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then late last night, the two sides came to a deal. So Liam Coen, he's expected to be announced as the Jaguars head coach within the next couple of hours. Wow, what a crazy turn of events in Jacksonville. As Jaguar fans and some good friends of mine were very excited to get Liam Coen in here. Second guy in the head coaching candidate for the Jacksonville Jaguars list, as y'all know. Didn't work out with Ben Johnson, of course. He's in Chicago, but Liam Coen is coming to Jacksonville, the now former offensive coordinator from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a terrific hire by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Coen has done a lot of great things throughout his career. Uh, uh, Talked to, or not talked to, but been watching a lot of Gen Jag. Shout out Jordan DeLugo, uh, analyst who reports the Jaguars, has his podcast Gen Jag, and he has a ton of experience. His dad was a coach, according to him. His granddad was a coach, so he is a football guy. He was the former, obviously, the former offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. He was an offensive assistant and former offensive coordinator under Sean McVay. He comes from that Sean McVay tree. And then he was the offensive coordinator for the Kentucky Wildcats um, a few seasons ago. I believe that was 2021. And he's done a lot of good things. Obviously, he helped he helped turn Will Levis, as y'all know him, Mayo dude, helped turn him into a top five, top three quarterback prospect. I mean, had Mel Kiper going to war, ride or die for Will Levis. And obviously, when he left, Will Levis kind of trended down, and it's been kind of up and down since with Will Levis. But really put Will Levis on the map. He really helped Will Levis kind of help him kind of build his draft stock, and had a lot of promise heading into his final season. But obviously, Liam Cohen left. I think he went to L.A. and then kind of trended toward down, but still helped Will Levis, really put him up on the scene and really helped him, get his stock up and stuff like that. Is a huge reason for Tampa Bay's offense being absolutely amazing, man. Turned Baker Mayfield had him turn into a top 10 quarterback last year, put up amazing numbers, over 4,500 passing yards. He threw 41 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, over 100 quarterback rating. Baker Mayfield had the best season of his career by far. He also turned a Tampa Bay run game that was ranked last in 2023. They were the fourth best in 2024. One of the most highly efficient and best passing offenses in the league. This is despite the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing Chris Godwin, one of their top wide receivers. He's going to be a free agent this year, so it's going to be interesting to see if Tampa brings him back or if he will be off elsewhere. Mike Evans also missed 3 games, or I think it was 3 or 4 games, with a hamstring injury. So he had to make do with like a lot of guys like Jalen McMillan, their rookie wide receiver, Trey Palmer, and then Sterling Shepard, a guy who has dealt with multiple, season-ending injuries, Achilles injuries, knee injuries, helped really get him back on track, and he was really producing last year. A guy who's really been banged up throughout his career, had really found life again in the NFL after it seemed like after all those injuries, it looked like he wasn't, going to be playing again. And Sterling Shepard looked really solid last year. So, and obviously Mike Evans came back and it helped really take the offense to another level. But again, what he was able to do with what he had, right? So the depth that he had. So this is a guy too. It doesn't matter too, obviously, yeah. Look, injuries happen in the NFL, man. Straight up, it's football. It's physical. you're going to lose guys. It's going to happen. You're going to get hurt. That's the unfortunate part of football. It's going to come with risks. It's going to come with injuries. But Liam Coen has proven if you give him enough talent and if he has depth and he's able to get the most out of the depth in the players that he has, and that's going to be very important for Jacksonville. This is huge also to, as you see, I'm wearing his jersey for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, obviously former number one pick in 2021. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, but he has shown a lot of promise when he has played. When things have been in structure, when things have been in place, the Jacksonville Jaguars have been rolling. But that's been really the thing, is just finding consistency. And obviously, we're coming off a really bad season, probably one of the worst seasons in Jaguars history last year by far. It was just, it was honestly depressing to watch the Jaguars last year, except for Brian Thomas Jr. But it's going to be important for him to come in and really get this team back on track. And again, just getting the most out of his guys, really helping the offense take that next step. And Liam Cohen's going to have some key pieces to work with, right? You've got your franchise quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You've got Brian Thomas Jr., a superstar wide receiver in the making. I think you've got two solid backs in Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. I think that's another thing, too, is again, Travis Etienne, the last two seasons, you've seen the decline. Like, it's just been down really since his first season as a starter when he fully took over that running back spot. So it's going to be important to get Travis Etienne back on track. And I think Liam Cohen can certainly do that. So he's got a nice tandem there. Parker Washington is a really solid receiver. We'll see if Christian Kirk is with the team. I do expect the Jaguars to potentially move on from him. We'll see, too, if Gabe Davis is on the roster this coming year. But your core players, you've got Trevor Lawrence, you've got Brian Thomas Jr., and you've got Tank Bigsby. You've obviously, too, Evan Ingram. He'll be back from injury. And then you've got Brenton Strange, who showed a lot of promise when he had to step up when Evan Ingram went down. On defense, you've got, obviously, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell, Jarian Jones. Devin Lloyd is also, I thought Devin Lloyd had a really good season last year. I thought his best season yet last year was just all over the field, making plays, had the best season of his career. I expect the Jaguars to potentially pick up those fifth-year options on Trayvon Walker, who's had back-to-back seasons of 10 and a half, 10 or more sacks, and Devin Lloyd, who had the best season of his career so far. It's going to be important, too, obviously, right, that we get the so now we've got our head coach, who's going to be our GM. Right now, Ethan Wall, I said his name incorrectly, so my apologies on the last video, but Ethan Wall is our interim GM. And it looks like, too, Liam Cohen is going to work with Shad Khan to figure out who the next GM will be. And that's going to be important to find the next GM because, again, the Trent Baalke thing, right? It was time. Like, Liam Cohen straight up said it. And as y'all saw, too, and Tampa Bay fans, and I think Tampa was kind of shocked and stunned a little bit. Of course, this news is reported too. This was reported too late last night by Adam Schefter, Dianna Russinj, Jordan Schultz, multiple journalists and analysts who cover the NFL. NFL Network also dropped the news late last night as well. Guys, this was like 1, 2 o'clock. This was like 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was up talking to my boys, man. We were just very excited that we were closing in on the deal to get Liam Cohen as our next head coach. But Trent Baalke, it was time. Like it was just time, man. Trent Baalke, it, you know, he's done some good things in Jacksonville. He hasn't been completely horrible, but he ain't been good at all, man. It has not been good. His roster building, his roster management, it's just not good. The philosophy too, where again, it's taking the guys with the traits over taking the guys with the pure talent. Again, I'm not trying to throw shade on Trayvon Walker by any means, because again, we have him here and he is our guy and he is going to be one of our core players. But it's not too hard to overthink a decision when you have Aiden Hutchinson right there, a game changer in your grasp, and you take obviously a more of a developmental guy, a guy who's going to take time to develop when you already have a proven player who is going to, like, imagine just a defense, man, with JHA and Aiden Hutchinson, man. That would have been amazing. But look, we got Trayvon Walker, and look, Trayvon Walker, I'm very proud and pleased with him and his development, and I think he is going to be a force to be reckoned with as he continues to grow and develop his skills. But Trent Baalke, 25-43 in his last 4 seasons in Jacksonville. Uh, again, just multiple, just kind of misses too in the draft. Again, it's like going back to 2022. He took Trayvon Walker, cool. He takes Devin Lloyd, which again, really good pick. But then you take another linebacker in the third round, a guy who's mainly going to be a special teamer. So you take another linebacker instead when we have offensive line help. This is a guy too that took, again, like the Brenton Strange pick. Again, Brenton Strange has proven to be a solid number 2 tight end. He could be the tight end of the future. But Elijah Torrance, we traded back, but we could have drafted Osiris Torrance, who's with the Bills right now, an offensive guard from Florida. So again, just a lot of missed, opportunities, and just again, the record has shown too. And two, he's butted heads with Jim Harbaugh, Doug Peterson, and just doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to working with coaches. Kind of butted head with coaches, the roster management, the roster building. It was just time to move in a different direction. And Ethan Coen straight up said it. Look, I'm not coming here unless you get rid of Trent Baalke. So that pretty much said it all along. The reason why Liam Coen verbally agreed to go back to Tampa was he told Jacksonville, look, I will take this job, but you got to get him out of here. Okay, he got to go. All right. So Shah Khan, he finally did it. Finally got out of his own head, and he got him out of there. And now we're gonna move forward with Liam Coen as our next head coach. I think some potential things, right, to look forward to is, right, what is the Jaguars going to do from a roster building standpoint? And the good news is Liam Coen, he's walking into a situation, right, where you've got talent. You do have talent on this roster. This is not a completely makeover team where you've got to start from scratch and draft your core. No, you've got your core. Those core players that I named, those are really talented core players that now, with better coaching and better guys in the building that can get the most out of these guys, you could really start to see their play take another step and take another level. Also, from an offensive perspective, Liam Coen, again, I think he is going to fully unlock Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a breakout season, finally have that true breakout season next year. Kind of the first since his 2022 season. I think Trevor Lawrence, again, Trevor's going to have to stay healthy. Trevor's got to play better. He's got to take better care of the football, of course. I thought he did a good job of that last year. Thought there were some plays, too, that obviously weren't his fault. I also appreciate the resiliency of Trevor Lawrence. As y'all know, the last 2 seasons, he's been banged up. He's played through and attempted to play through injuries. And again, I'm not going to go into what, obviously, the season-ending injury that, knocked him out. We're not going to go into that right now because, again, that was in the past, and we're going to move forward. But it's going to be important to, one, get Trevor Lawrence healthy, and two, we got to get Trevor Lawrence playing at a top 10 level, a top 5 level even, too. And I think Liam Coen is going to do just that. I think he's going to simplify things for him. I think the offense is going to be more creative. The offense is going to make sense. It was crazy to watch the Jaguars last season, and you see these teams, like a 4th and 1, you see the Washington Commanders, the Eagles, like these top teams like the Ravens, like the Bills, or even any team, like a 4th and 1 wasn't hard at all to get a 4th and 1. For some reason, the probability to convert a 4th and 1 was like 10% compared to those teams converting it at 80-90%. It's just crazy, man. The play calling, again, on just 4th and short, and then when we're in the red zone and then it's 4th and 1 at the goal line, we're not converting. We're not getting in the end zone. The red zone offenses, too, were just very stale. Doug Peterson's offense, the biggest, thing, too, with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor is just, again, the play calling and then just the offense. There was no life in the offense. There was no movement. There was no motion. The offense was very predictable. It's like teams knew what we were going to do on offense. That's why it's like we stayed going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Maybe we'll score a touchdown, but then 3 and out and then a turnover. It's like, the offense, there was just no creativity in the offense. There was no efficiency, really. It seemed like we would get moving, but then we would stall out and maybe settle for 3. Like, it just got to the point, too, where there was no life in that Jaguars offense. Now, you bring in Liam Coen, an elite offensive mind like him, a guy who, as you've seen, and what he's been able to do, help elevate Baker Mayfield to a new level, help Will Levis put him on the map, and now he's going to be the head coach of head coach for the Jaguars and help elevate Trevor Lawrence and that team, and this team. Oh, man, we're rolling. I think the biggest things moving forward, right, is obviously right. Again, we got to get our GM. I think maybe into free agency. And the good news is draft assets. We've got the 5th overall pick, we've got a 2nd round pick, and we've got 2 3rd round picks, and we've got multiple picks after that. It was crazy too. A good thing too about Trent Baalke, we traded back and got a 3rd and a 4th round pick from the Minnesota Vikings in the Brian Thomas Jr. trade. When we traded down and still got BTJ. So wonderful. I would say I will give Trent Baalke credit where it's due. He did he got some good players in his time here. It was just, again, there was just multiple players I felt like we could have had more. We could have had more talent, but um it's again, that's good for Liam Coen. Now again, he's gonna like Jen Jack talked about it and Jordan DeLugo talked about. Uh, this is not going to be an easy just come in and like things are going to be, some no sunny days and stuff like that. Like he's going to have to come in here and really set the foundation for this team. Um, but like Jordan DeLuca talked about, this is a guy too that I refer to, a good source, and I watch his videos all the time. You know, he's a really cool guy. He's chilled. He's relaxed, but he gets the most out of the guys that he has. As again, excuse me, he gets the most out of the guys that he has, and as you see, his offenses to the offense and what he was able to do, like top 5 in basically every statistical category as well. And I think too, you're going to see an elevation of the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Obviously, to rebuilding out the coaching staff, we'll see what he does. Press Taylor, in my opinion, I think he's gone as well. We'll see who he brings in as his offensive coordinator. We'll see too as well who our defensive coordinator will be. I would hope to get Robert Saleh, but it looks like he's going to be headed back to the San Francisco 49ers and head back to San Francisco. We'll see if Patrick Graham, who's interviewed for our head coaching job, we'll see if he gets an opportunity to be our defensive coordinator, our new DC. Um, but the multiple draft picks we've got, and we've got $35 million in cap space currently right now. And I think too, you can obviously make some moves to create more cap space. Again, I would, if I'm Jacksonville, I would attempt maybe again. I think Christian Kirk is a great player, by any means, but he has finished the last 2 seasons on injured reserve. So if I were the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would release Christian Kirk, a guy who's going to be 29 years old coming up this season, and I would clear. I think there's an out on his contract as well. I think we've seen enough from Parker Washington where we can, and this is from my boy Zay, who had to convince me like, hey, he's cheaper, he's younger, and look, he's got good hands, he's a good route runner. Let's go with the younger route, and let's go Parker Washington. So you cut Christian Kirk. I think you save about $20 million in cap space. So the Jaguars could potentially create some potential moves. Ronald Darby, a guy too who we signed last year who got benched, didn't finish the year as the starter last year. He's on a 2-year contract. I would expect them to cut him, save some more cap space. If Brandon Sheriff is not under contract, I think Brandon Sheriff is a free agent, but if not, if he is, I would release him. I think he's an aging veteran, good pass protector, but not a great run blocker, and I think we can upgrade. If I'm the Jaguars too, if I'm in the draft, I mean, my biggest position area of need, I think, is corner. We've got to get another corner beside Tyson Campbell. Just the cornerback play beside Campbell was just not great last year at all. We've got to get another corner. Again, Will Johnson from Michigan is a guy I would look at. And then obviously offensive line, rebuilding the trenches. If Trevor Lawrence is going to take the next step and elevate to new heights, we've got to get the offensive line fully constructed and figured out. Will Campbell from LSU is my number 1 tackle. He's the best tackle in my opinion in this draft. Love his tenacity. I know he's got short arms and doesn't have the ideal arm length for your tackle that you want, but I think too he could be that kind of Peter Skoronski where he was a really good tackle in college and he becomes a really solid tackling guard. Or you could potentially as well move him to tackle and then maybe Walker Little inside. But I think you've got your tackles. Walker Little's your left tackle. Anton Harrison's your right tackle. You move on from Brandon Sheriff. I think Ezra Cleveland is a solid guard. You've got a proven veteran in Mitch Morse. You maybe draft Will Campbell. You put him in at one of those guard spots, left or right guard, and you have your guards in Ezra Cleveland, Will Campbell. And I think Will Campbell, with how young, physical, the tenacity, the nastiness that he brings in the run game and the passing game, Will Campbell has gotten better each and every season from his freshman year. This is a guy too who had started as a true freshman as well. So Will Campbell, I think is gonna. I think he's going to be a really great player, and I see Pro Bowl, All Pro potential in him for sure. And a former teammate of Brian Thomas Jr. So any teammate who's a former teammate of BTJ, bring him in. Bring in those LSU talents, man. Um, so I think he'll do some great things for us if we draft him. Mason Graham from Michigan is another guy I see definitely kind of the next superstar defensive tackle in the makeup for sure. Like in those guys like Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence, those top tier guys, Dalvin Tomlinson from the Browns, and just multiple guys too. Kobe Turner from the Rams, Braden Fisk, who enjoyed a really good breakout season last year in his first year from Florida State. I think Mason Graham is the next upcoming. But I think you've got your guys in Eric Armstead and Mason Smith, who showed some promise, former LSU player as well. So I think maybe too we continue the LSU tree and we bring in Will Campbell to solidify the offensive line. And then we've got multiple draft assets. We'll have plenty of cap space if the Jaguars make some moves. And then we can get this team rolling and really get this team back on track. And hopefully, again, with Liam Coen now in the building, better things are to come. I'm very excited and happy of this hire of Liam Coen. Congratulations to Liam Coen and his family. Welcome to Duval. Jaguars fans, we've got our guy. We've got our head coach. We stole him from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay fans, man, pleasure doing business with y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. I hope y'all get your next offensive coordinator. And we'll see what we can do. And again, I'm just excited. I'm really excited for Liam Coen and the Jacksonville Jaguars. It seemed like when Trent Baalke was still in the building, it just seemed like there was no kind of sense of direction of what was going to happen in Jacksonville. But now there is a sense of direction now that Liam Coen is our coach, and now we can look for our next GM, and then we can get this team back on track through some building moves. Also, if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, if me personally, again, I'm cutting Christian Kirk. I would try to cut Christian Kirk. I would either trade or cut Gabe Davis, and I'm going after T. Higgins in free agency. I'm going after T. Higgins to reunite him with Trevor Lawrence, reunite Trevor Lawrence's former number one receiver in college. If I'm the Jaguars, so I'm going all in. I'm trying to build a winner. Obviously, I'm trying to have a team that can compete with Houston for the AFC South, and we can get this team rolling, man. A lot of great things to come in Jacksonville. But Liam Coen is now the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Let's get to 50 subscribers. Hey, we got to start somewhere, right? So let's get to 50 subscribers. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. And y'all stay blessed out there. Y'all stay warm in this cold weather. You feel me? Stay blessed. Peace. Deej out.